Spectrum, Time Warner doesn't really seem to take any of the issues serious, because this has been going on for over a year, and proving to you guys, or getting to you guys to accept the proof that there's an issue has been really difficult. So that's one issue, Philip. Another thing is that I would like to get your ID from you. Can I go ahead and do that? Thank you. I'm ready. All right, 1675716. Awesome. So, the technical issue is that whenever I try and set up a router so that I can have control of or viewing the devices that can access my network, there's quite a bit of pushback by the people that sit on my network. I don't access the internet through my internet modem. Apparently, I access through some unknown network in the internet, and then I access. And then one time, I spoke with Erin when I finally was able to find this security and abuse place. I think her name was Erin. And so that was on the 30th of September. And then on the 1st of September, one of the networks that I was pretty sure was one of the networks that's abusing my internet and my service, had suddenly had its name changed to their last name. These are people that would never put their name on anything unless they were forced. And that was what I was told would happen with security, is if they found some kind of issue, they would do some kind of disclosure thing, but they wouldn't tell me about it. So what it looked like was the solution. And after that Sunday, so like for the 1st and the 2nd, my computer actually showed the proper icon for connecting, and it showed me connected to only one internet source. And I didn't actually get a chance to talk to tech support and see what it looked like from your end, but it seemed to be connecting correctly for about a week, and maybe less. So now I'm trying to, and then it went completely. I have no connection again so now I'm trying to get it connected again. I'm using one of your routers. I was told that if I was able to get an event log transferred from the router, translated into a text format, send it into abuse@rr.com, that that you guys would do something. However, that seems to be an impossible thing, since for one thing, none of your technicians on your end that are honest are able to actually access my router. It blocks them. They're not able to see me online. When I am connected to online, they don't see my device. However, last night there were 2 devices connected to my internet that were not me, were 100% not me. And when I signed on and I said, now how many devices do you see? She did not see my device. She still only saw the 2. Apparently they can't give out the whole MAC ID, but I have the last 4. And I have the names of the networks that were up. And obviously it's kind of hard to send an email to abuse@rr whatever when I can't connect on the internet. And also my phone service has been interrupted, and yeah, there's quite a big situation going on here. My credit cards have been accessed, my bank has been accessed. This has been going on since 2015. I've been trying to get help. I've had technicians out here that refuse to put a new modem in for me, that yell at me and slam my door. I have it on video. His name's Jamie. He's done it many times. Also, one day I was, have I what? I haven't specifically reported Jamie until right now. But I have been trying to get help with this. One time, I'll tell you another creepy thing that I have on video that I sent into the sheriff's department. So my dog is here, and I'm being stalked in my neighborhood. This is an in-the-neighborhood situation going on. And so my dog makes this noise like he does sometimes when people are creeping around, and I look out and I see this truck creeping by, and I'm like, what? And I see what looks like a green logo. So I wanted to see what the logo was. So when it came back in the other direction, I thought, oh, it's going to turn on First Street. So I went running back to that window to see where, it went. And it actually pulled into the neighbor's yard that are the ones, one of the set that I think, the ones that had to change their network name to their last name. And when I got to my window, the truck was parked right there. I was like, oh my God. And I look and it says Time Warner. And I was like, really? So at that point I ran and I got my camera and I'm like, oh my God. And so then as I come out, I'm like, and look, it was this creepy truck. And I don't know what the green logo on the other side was, because that wasn't Time Warner, it was a green logo. And so then, and then the guy starts coming onto my property. I was like, wait a minute, David. And so then I go out and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, he seemed very surprised. Yes. And multiple times he's refused to put in a new modem for me. Oh, he's definitely a Spectrum tech. I see him driving around in a Spectrum van still. Well, somewhere I have his ID number. Well, I have to look it up. I mean, I'm going to have to dig through my books. Well, I can definitely turn you guys on to the video that I took where he's just yelling at me. And definitely, and one other time he's yelling on and on and on about the Node, and I actually had to tell him to reduce the volume of his voice because he was hurting my ears. And it's interesting that he makes such a loud amount of noise over my personal information, because one of the first ways, and this is previous to 2015, that I found out that my creepy neighbors were spying on me was because they were commenting on some sort of discussion we'd been having in my house. And when I told my friend, I was like, oh my God, I'm putting up a second or third layer of curtains on my house. She's like, isn't that the same town where kids looked in the shower window at us? So, you know, there's some stuff going on here. Mm-hmm. Not yet, not until I can get this router up and running, and then I will attach the next router to it. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's running. Okay. So last night, when I tried to connect my tablet using the password, it wouldn't let me in. So then I called. So then I asked technician Leslie in the Colorado Center how many devices she saw connected. At that moment, there was no devices connected. And she said 2 devices are connected right now. And she gave me the last 4 of the MAC ID for both of those devices. Then, when I connected my cell phone, I said, now how many devices do you see connected? And she said, I still see just 2. And this has been an ongoing thing where I connect and your back office can't see me connected. Or when I'm not connected, other devices. And what first alerted me is when I got the Ubi modem or router, and it let me, I learned how to look in and look at the client list and all that stuff in the connected devices, and there was always lots of unknown devices. So then when I talked to your security department and talked to Erin, and she wanted that event log view, then I thought, well, I'm going to go in my laptop and I'm going to look in there, and because I couldn't access the router or the modem, I was told there was no way to get an event log on the modem because it was a standalone. And then when I got the router, there's no ability for your technicians to access my router from the back end. And so I was looking in my laptop for the event log, and I viewed that. And incidentally, my laptop now doesn't work since the 1st, but in that event log view and the device event log view in my laptop, I saw a whole bunch of devices connected to my laptop that were not my devices. Like, I went into my laptop and I went under the device manager, and then I went into the control panel and I did view event log. and then I pulled it up, and then there's several different event logs that you can view, and so I just looked at all the different event logs. I viewed the one for the system, the one for administration, the one for devices, and on devices I found two. I couldn't tell if it was two keyboards with two connections to each, or whether it was four separate keyboards, Bluetooth connected, that are not mine, among a bunch of other things. And I found what looked like 5 large networks, or at least 4 large networks. One of them was the expected one from next door, the Barrick Belkin people. One of them had what looks like the last name of someone that I know associated to it. One of them had what looked like the nickname of a person associated to it who has the same last name as the other person, and looked like it was coming from, one was an iPhone. So that was the device. No, that was in the system event view. I'm just thinking in my head because right now I don't have access to that file because, like I said, it's on my computer, which now doesn't work. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I want to figure out how to make it stop. And I need to kind of work with all the different corporations. And a lot of it, frankly, is coming internal from your end, because I've had some pretty strange phone calls where my phone service gets interrupted, and where voices that I've had Spectrum technicians lie to me over the phone and give me false names and false IDs when I ask for their IDs. And when I call back and I say, what do the notes on my my account say about the last person that I talked to, they'll be different than they should be. I haven't done it recently. I did back in 2015. I had my hard drive rebuilt by someone that I probably don't trust, and there was some remote accessing done, and I did remote accessing on that computer with, I'm trying to think which company it was. I can't remember which company it was on that computer. And then I've done remote accessing on my cell phone and my tablet with Verizon. But on that computer, and then the other remote access that I have is the person that I actually think is probably the owner of one of those keyboards. No. I'm very much aware of what my local network connections and what my connections should look like, and what my DC. Here, let me go ahead and tell you some of the things that I'm aware of, so that you know that I have been looking at this for a while. So, like, I know to watch my DHCP. I know to check my and make sure what my gateway is. I know that one of the things that I talked to Erin was about was because I was being locked into a line that was way above. It was like 61, 62, when it should have been like in the 20s or something for one of my D things. So no, I'm not looking at my network access, available network access. I do have networks that I watch that seem to cause me trouble, that are online all the time. But no, what I did was, so do you know where the device manager, you must know where the device manager setting is on your computer when you go to control panel and you go to, yeah. So then that's where I was, in device manager and in view event log, and I was looking at the devices connected to my computer, and I could see my devices and I could see unfamiliar devices. I don't think I have. Yes. 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 Mhm. Mhm. I don't that sounds exactly like what's, because one of the things when I looked at all the installed devices was I had my computer set up to make a sound when a device installed, and it was making the sound, and it would show up like a Windows notification or this or that. And when I looked at the dates that these events occurred, they were very specific dates of when I would try and install a router, or when I would. So yeah, it was that was part of how I knew which network, because of events external to the computer. And so yeah, what you say makes a lot of sense. But really, what I'm going to do is just completely, that computer's just kind of not even being used. There's no network access, no brain going on. It can't accept a charge. So what I want to work with is just my tablet and my cell phone. I'll eventually get a new computer, but what I need from your end is some kind of something, because you guys can't even access my router from your end. No, they're having difficulty because it's not accessing the internet through my modem. That is the problem. The problem is, and so after the 30th of September, then the 1st of October, there was another one of those incidences where I disabled a keyboard at 2:56 p.m. At 2:58 p.m., I received a phone call from the person that I thought the keyboard belonged to, and then when I looked in, it was re-enabled, so then I disabled again. That was October 1st. And then a different neighbor came over that I thought is one of the hardware device persons. And instead of, and right then my computer started making those noises like it's overheating, like it's doing things when it shouldn't be doing things, when nothing's happening. So I go and I look in and I look at network, uh, my network settings, and you know where you view your network, that A word, statistics of it anyways, the parameters, and it gives you all the states. And I looked in, and once again, instead of just accessing the internet through the internet connection, that was my internet connection, I'm again accessing through, and in this time, instead of accessing through an unknown network and then getting to the internet, I was accessing through a local network and getting to the internet. So the reason they can't see anything going on in my router is because any data going on in my router, it's probably false data, because I'm not actually accessing the internet through my modem, which is why I want a technician that knows what they're doing and has some experience with security and fraud to come out here and install a modem or do something. I want something done from your end, so that someone who, because another thing that Jamie does and the other techs is they don't know anything. They don't know anything. They just don't know anything. I'm like, really? You've worked for 10 years for your company and you don't know what they can view from the back of the house and what, you know, the difference is? Mhm. Yes. Yes. And that it's correctly, what I want to do is make it so that it MAC filters and only my devices can connect, and also so that it's, what was the other thing? There's some other things that I want to do before I even go online. I just want to make it so that only my devices can connect. Mhm. Yep. But until I can do this, until I really, and will you make sure that they're like a good tech that knows what they're doing? Okay. Super.